All right, so I haven't talked much about or at all about St. George or the schedule changes or anything, so it's definitely time to do a new video, and we're doing it a little bit different here this morning since I do have a new partner that I'm going to announce, and needed to include that with this video, and I can't have my breakfast until I get this done. So since it is a blood test. And so, yeah, we're doing it a little bit different, just kind of as I go through my morning routine and go through this test, we'll talk through the video to be efficient with everybody's time. So, I've been testing out rhythm blood tests for, this will be my fourth actual test, and I wanted to make sure that it was going to be a good fit and make sure that I could talk well about the product and feel like it was doing exactly what it said before I decided to partner with them. It is a little bit different, right? It's a dry blood spot. You do it on yourself. You don't have to go to the lab, which is great, super convenient, but it had to be accurate as well. And I had recent actual lab tests that I went to a blood draw lab and did everything and was able to compare it, and I was happy with everything. And so, yeah, I'm excited to do that. A number of years ago, dry blood spot was being piloted with the PTO testing, and so I was fairly familiar with it. But yeah, it was good to see how the numbers or how all the values compared to doing it the old-fashioned way as well, and seeing how everything shook out there. So yeah, I'm gonna take the test as I talk through the video, and go from there. So St. George didn't go poorly. Overall, it was about the best case scenario that I could have asked for, in terms of I probably, if I would have executed a few things a little bit cleaner, I could have been 1 to 2 spots up. I was a little bit frustrated with myself at the end, to be within 30 seconds of another place forward. That's just one of those situations where I didn't want it enough, I guess. But I didn't realize that 7th and 8th were quite as close as they were at the end until the last little roundabout, and that at that point there's only about 500 meters left, so there wasn't anything that I could really do to at that point. Once I finally realized it, I was running hard. Because I had just moved into 9th anyways, and Dubrick was right behind me, so it wasn't like I was mailing it in or anything like that. But it's always a bit frustrating when you see that you are that close to a couple more places forward. Overall, the swim, I thought it went okay. Our group blew up after the turn, and I don't know why that happened. We were in a huge group, and it kind of splintered, and a couple people got off the front, and then I went to the front of our group and led the rest of the way in. And overall, I think, coming down with a relatively short gap to the front was pretty happy, but that was soon crushed when I saw that Lionel and Trevor were both in my group, and that I needed to be able to get out and get in and get settled, and hopefully, get 10-15 minutes of riding in before they passed, in order to weather the storm, because they just ride hard. And I wasn't able to do that. They came out right away, and they were gone. So it made for a long solo day on the bike. And then I had good power. I was riding fairly well. I was happy with how the ride went, and I didn't feel good the first 5K of the run. The first uphill section didn't go well for me. Then when we finally got to the downhill section, I was able to kind of get everything together, and then hold it well for the rest of the run. So overall, it was a decent enough day. I was able to get the slot for 70.3 Worlds, which helps me with this next decision that I have to make as well. The original plan was South Africa, Texas, and then doing Eagleman and St. George. And with South Africa not going well, or getting sick and not really being able to race, I had to figure out a new plan. And with getting the 70.3 World slot, that means that I'm able to now drop Eagleman and go to Cairns, which I would much prefer a trip to Maryland than a trip to Australia, but I could have tried to do them both, but that would have been silly, and I really didn't want to go to do like a ZLMC, a European 70.3. So this allows me to do 70.3 Worlds and then Cairns. So that's a little bit of a change that we've got coming up. But anyways, the first thing I did was warm that up, and we'll clean this off and then get the test started. Cairns is a place that I've gone before. I went there in 2016. It did not go well for me. It was pouring rain, and I was on a set of tires that I shouldn't have been riding in the pouring rain. And I ended up crashing 3 times. The tires were like soap on those roads, and I went down right in the first mile, and then through 2 roundabouts. So ended up with a bit of hip pain, so I didn't even get to start the run. So I'm looking forward to going there and getting my revenge on the course, I guess. The field looks good. It'll be another one that the swim is going to be super important. When I was there in 2016, it was an extremely choppy swim. It was probably the choppiest swim I've ever been a part of. But overall, it hasn't been that way a number of times. A lot of times it was like last when I was there, like the day before on the practice swim, it was glass. So I don't really know what I'm going to get in terms of the swim. I guess it's like South Africa in that regard. The bike isn't super technical. I say that after I crashed 3 times on it the last time, but I hope that was just a unique circumstance. And then the run is flat. So overall, it's a course that I think suits me pretty well. The field is going to be fast up front on the swim, and they're going to go hard on the bike, and I know that it's going to be very similar to Texas in that regard. Hopefully I can manage to hold on to the back end of the front pack of the swim, or the front main group of the swim. There'll probably be a couple guys that get off the front, and if not, then I've got my work cut out for me in bridging. And I guess that's part of the reason that you're here this morning in the kitchen with part of the morning routine, is because things have been quite busy in the afternoons and with the block that I've been doing, and so it's been hard for me to get together with Gerard to get this video done. So we just decided to push it out in the morning so we could get it done. I did since I'm doing Cairns, I've got challenge rope very shortly afterwards, so I knew that I needed to get a big aerobic block in, so I did probably the 3 biggest overall volume weeks that I've done back to back probably ever. That's a little bit intentional, and then this week I'm 2 weeks out from Cairns right now. Now we backed off the volume and are hitting the intensity pretty hard to try to I wasn't happy with how I rode the last 2 hours in Texas, and I wasn't really happy with how I rode the last 25 minutes in St. George, and so I wanted to try to push the aerobic end of things and then raise the intensity leading into the race. That kind of makes sense with how I tend to structure the tapers anyways, or how we tended to structure the tapers anyways. So that's where we're at. We'll finally get a little bit of breathing room, but or coming up this week in terms of just time. I really enjoyed the last block. I was doing some long solo rides in the mountains when I did a ride where I was like 7.5 hours with over 12,000 feet of gain, and just time on my bike and enjoying the scenery up in the mountains, which was a lot of fun. I did a couple of rides very similar to that, and then did some climbing rides in time trial position, and played around with that a little bit as well. So run wise, definitely kind of got back into the multiple run days. So I did 2 days a week. I was running, doing double runs, and then started doing the double run, one of those after my long run as well. So doing a 2.5 hour run in the morning, and then following that up with a second run in the afternoon as well on the weekend. So it was a big volume, and hopefully it'll pay off. But other than that, that's really all I've got going on for now. Like I said, it's going to be a big block of racing. If all goes well, it'll be Cairns, it'll be Challenge Road, and then it will be Lake Placid. So that's 3 fulls in a very short amount of time, which is why I kind of structured things out the way they did. And as always, we'll continue to show up and talk through everything before and after. And so the next one will be when I get back from Cairns, hopefully, with some good news to talk about, and we'll see you then.